The moon hung low in the ink-black sky, casting an eerie glow over the secluded woods that cradled our vacation home. My partner, Sarah, and I had sought solace in this remote retreat, a haven from the chaos of city life. Little did we know, the tranquility of our idyllic weekend would soon be shattered by a sinister impersonation. The night was still, disturbed only by the crackling fireplace and the distant hoots of an owl. Nestled in the warmth of our cabin, we were jolted by an abrupt knock on the door. The sound reverberated through the silence, sending shivers down our spines. Sarah glanced at me, her unease mirrored in her wide eyes. I approached the door cautiously, peering through the peephole to find a figure, clad in a police uniform. The unsettling part. We hadn't dialed 911, nor had we heard any sounds that warranted police intervention. A cold sweat broke across my forehead as I opened the door to the alleged officer. His stern expression softened by the glow of the porch light. He claimed to be responding to a breaking and entering call, his eyes scanning our cabin as if searching for elusive clues. Unease settled like a fog in the room as he insisted on checking the perimeter. My instincts screamed danger, but Sarah convinced me it was protocol. Little did we know, this was the beginning of a nightmarish ordeal. The alleged officer's behavior grew increasingly erratic. He wandered the rooms aimlessly, asking peculiar questions unrelated to the supposed break-in. I caught Sarah's worried gaze, and we silently communicated our shared discomfort. The man's every move seemed rehearsed, like a twisted performance. Our fears reached a crescendo when, peering through the cabin window, we spotted a mysterious figure lurking in the shadows. Panic tightened its grip as we realized the intruder was not alone. Accomplices concealed by darkness lingered on the periphery. The walls of our haven felt paper-thin as we realized the supposed officer was an imposter, a puppet master orchestrating a sinister plot. Confrontation became inevitable. As we challenged the imposter, demanding an explanation for his intrusion, the air thickened with tension. His demeanor shifted, a predatory glint in his eyes betraying malicious intent. It was then that we understood the gravity of our situation. We were at the mercy of unknown assailants, isolated in the heart of the unforgiving woods. In a desperate bid for safety, we managed to escape through a back entrance, our breaths visible in the frigid night air. Fear fueled our sprint through the woods, guided only by the distant glow of civilization. The ominous figure and his conspirators pursued us like phantoms, shadows blending with shadows. Gasping for breath, we stumbled upon a road where a passing motorist rescued us from the clutches of our pursuers. As the red tail lights of our rescuer's car disappeared into the night, we glanced back, half expecting to see the fake cop and his accomplices vanish into the woods. Our harrowing encounter left scars that time could only partially heal. The impersonation taught us the importance of trusting our instincts, especially when faced with authority figures. If something feels amiss, it probably is. In moments of danger, prioritize your safety over politeness. Dial 911 if in doubt and find a well-lit, populated area to seek refuge. It's better to be overly cautious than to fall victim to the sinister impersonations that lurk in the shadows. Closing. As we reflect on that fateful night, the memory remains etched in our minds like a horror movie playing on an endless loop. May this story serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in the serenity of nature, darkness may encroach. Stay vigilant, trust your instincts, and remember, the woods may not always shelter you from the unseen terrors that prowl in the midnight shadows. The night sky stretched endlessly above me as I navigated the winding roads of Colorado, surrounded by the haunting whispers of the wilderness. My headlights cut through the darkness, revealing an isolated highway that seemed to stretch on forever. Little did I know that this desolate stretch of road would soon become the setting for a nightmarish encounter. The rhythmic hum of my engine was abruptly shattered by the shrill wail of a siren. Glancing in my rearview mirror, I saw the flashing blue and red lights of a police car. My heart quickened, and I eased my vehicle to the shoulder, contemplating the possible reasons for this unexpected stop. As the officer approached, I couldn't shake the unease settling in the pit of my stomach. His uniform, though resembling that of a cop, bore subtle irregularities. Unmarked car, no badge number, and an unnerving lack of police insignias. The officer, his face concealed by the shadow of his hat, asked me to step out of the car. Alarm bells rang in my mind as I scrutinized his every move, searching for signs of authenticity. His requests became increasingly invasive, bordering on the absurd. Fear coiled around my chest as I hesitated, contemplating the safest course of action. It was then that I noticed something more unsettling: the absence of a standard-issue sidearm. Every instinct screamed that I was dealing with an impostor. I feigned compliance, my mind racing to formulate an escape plan. The barren landscape offered no solace, and the only witnesses were the distant stars overhead. The fake cop's intentions remained unclear, but the looming threat of danger hung palpably in the air. As I stood there paralyzed by fear, the fake cop's tone shifted from authoritative to menacing. He circled my car like a vulture closing in on its prey. Panic surged as I realized that compliance might not be enough to ensure my safety. With each passing moment, the darkness of the night seemed to close in, amplifying the feeling of vulnerability. In a desperate bid for freedom, I seized the moment when the fake cop momentarily turned away. My legs carried me in a sprint across the highway, heart pounding in my ears. The distant glow of civilization beckoned like a lifeline. My mind raced with thoughts of the dangers I'd narrowly avoided, the shadows of the night concealing the true horror that lurked in the guise of authority. Gasping for breath, I reached a roadside diner, its neon sign flickering in the night. The distant echoes of the siren faded into the background as I explained my ordeal to the real law enforcement officers at the diner. They assured me that I had narrowly escaped a potentially grave situation. The phantom cop was a known impersonator who had eluded capture for far too long. The advice they imparted lingered in my mind. Always verify the identity of an officer, especially in secluded areas. Genuine police will understand your caution and appreciate your commitment to personal safety. If uncertain, request the presence of another officer or proceed to a well-lit, populated area before stopping. My harrowing experience serves as a cautionary tale for fellow travelers. Trust your instincts and never compromise your safety for the illusion of authority. Impersonators may lurk in the shadows, preying on vulnerability. Stay vigilant, question irregularities. And remember, the road, though seemingly endless, should never lead you into the clutches of a nightmarish encounter. The night was draped in an eerie stillness, and the dim glow of streetlights painted a tranquil picture on Quiet Street. I, a resident of this serene Michigan town, settled into the comforting embrace of my home, oblivious to the nightmare that would soon unfold. A persistent knock echoed through the silence, disrupting the peaceful night. Irritated, I opened the door to find a salesman peddling the latest security systems. His smile seemed genuine, but unease lingered as he insisted on showcasing the system's capabilities. I declined, shooing him away and locking the door, dismissing the late-night intrusion as an unfortunate annoyance. The tranquility shattered when my phone rang, the caller ID displaying a mysterious 911 operator. The voice on the other end relayed a chilling message, a crime unfolding on Quiet Street. Panic seized me as I peered through the window, noticing shadows lurking in the darkness. The peaceful town had transformed into a stage for a sinister play. Fear tightened its grip as masked figures emerged from the shadows, attempting to force their way into my home. Desperation clawed at me, urging me to stay one step ahead of the invaders. My mind raced through options, and with trembling hands, I dialed 911. The voice on the other end reassured me that help was on the way. The masked intruders grew more aggressive, their sinister intentions palpable through the pounding on my door. In that moment, survival instincts kicked in. I barricaded myself in a room, clutching the phone like a lifeline. The minutes stretched into agonizing eternities as I awaited the distant wail of sirens. A sudden silence descended, the invaders realizing their futile attempts were in vain. The distant sirens grew louder, an audible symphony of rescue. Relief washed over me as the intruders fled into the night. The nightmare had subsided, but the scars it left were etched into the fabric of Quiet Street. The police arrived, investigating the disturbing scheme that unfolded on my doorstep. The salesman was a mere pawn, orchestrating a web of deception to pave the way for the invasion. The 911 calls were traced to an abandoned house, the haunting lair of those who sought to invade my sanctuary. The harrowing ordeal taught me a lesson I'd never forget. Vigilance is our greatest shield. In a world where deception lurks in unexpected corners, trust your instincts. Verify the identity of unexpected visitors and question the legitimacy of strange calls. Swift action and a direct call to the real authorities can turn the tide against those who seek to exploit the illusion of safety. My quiet town survived the nightmare, but the echoes lingered. Let this story be a chilling reminder that safety is a fragile illusion, easily shattered by the malevolence that may lurk behind the seemingly mundane. Stay vigilant, and may your nights on Quiet Street remain undisturbed by the terrors that may knock on your door.